From the heart of your community, this is Calon FM.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. I'm going downtown tonight. What's going on?
This is Calon FM.
So, as we are all aware, I don't think it's gone unnoticed, that all the entertainment hubs all over the country have had to close down. But slowly but surely, they're all coming back to us now. The theatres are opening, all the cinemas are opening, and we can almost get back to some kind of normality. And this is exactly what's been going on up at Theatre Clwyd. Theatre Clwyd, incidentally, didn't really close during the whole of the lockdown. Stayed open to help out in the community however they could. They did a sterling job. This week they've had the London Classic Theatre Company visiting with their production of The Absurd Person Singular. It's an Alan Ayckbourn classic, and I'm pleased to say that we are joined on the show by one of the actresses from the show, Helen Keeley. And Helen, I mean, it's been an absolute nightmare for us all, hasn't it? For everybody, really. But on a personal level, how has it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of similar to everybody. It started like quite scary. We were doing this tour that we're on at the moment. We'd only done 3 weeks. We had a week off, and then the lockdown happened, so we just never went back. And it was that time where we thought, you know, we'll be back after a month, after 2 months, and it just kept going. So we're really lucky to have come back, and I do a lot of voice work, a lot of audiobooks and things like that. So I created a home studio, so was really lucky and managed to do I did some audiobooks, video games, I'm the voice of the Heathrow Express, and managed to do all of that from home. So I managed to kind of, claw some of it back, which was not too bad.
Fantastic. I don't know, it was well publicised that actors and stage crews and technical staff were all treated really, really badly, and people were having to find new jobs, but that didn't seem to be the case for you. So, as you say, really lucky, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, this thing is because, everyone's self-employed, you just have to kind of... The good thing about freelancers is they are always prepared to go out and find work. So I think there was a bit of a mad scramble of everyone. I mean, I think all actors I know had a home studio at one point because they were like, well, this is the only work we can do from home, really. Yeah. But yeah, gosh, I know people who ended up working for, like Royal Mail and Amazon and Tesco. There's a kind of a joke at the moment, especially with, stage crew and actors and things like that, where people just say, how was the pandemic? What supermarket did you work in? Yeah. So, because everyone had to find a job somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there was I seem to remember there was a strange perception, especially with like the general public, that theatre was a kind of the least of our worries. They didn't seem to contemplate that it was people's livelihoods really at stake.
Yeah, well, I suppose, and I do understand that in a way, but it always is the kind of the last thing because it's entertainment and stuff like that. But you know what? It's been amazing the amount of people that have come back, and it started as a bit of a trickle because we started this tour back again in June, and it's kind of been more of a deluge. Like the audience is coming back. It's been really lovely actually to see that people have gone, no, we love entertainment, we want to be entertained, and actually the people are, everyone's still there and everyone wants to go out, which is actually really heartening because you do go through a bit of a doubt when you just go, oh, everything's shut down and this is how I earn my money. So it was a bit tricky at times.
Yeah, a friend of mine, excuse me, she looks after performers' kind of well-being and mental health, and she was saying evidently people were really nervous when lockdown happened and everyone was being made unemployed. But there was this sort of juxtaposition where people were kind of getting anxious about actually going back to work. Is that a fair observation?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And as well, there have been, like each venue we go to, they've all been amazing, but they do all have slightly varying rules. Sometimes, because you have to wear masks in the building, sometimes you have to wear masks backstage up until you go on. Some, and some aren't kind of like, well, when you're checked into the building, you're isolated, so you don't have to wear masks at all. So there has been, you've always got to have a bit of awareness. And certainly when we started rehearsing and when we went into our first theatre back in June, it was really, really apprehensive. I think like everyone, when we first started going out, you were just kind of, this invisible thing, trying to navigate it is always going to be tricky.
Yeah, and it was confusing enough, really, wasn't it? And this tour, as you say, has been mammoth. I mean, it's 17 venues in 5 months, I think I counted.
Yeah.
And, I mean, is life on the road, is it a good place to be? Are you a touristy person? Do you like doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, you know what? I have really enjoyed it. And actually, after what seems like a year, 18 months of just being inside our houses, it's been really nice to kind of go to other places and go, I'm going for work. Although the flip side is that actually the longer you then spend away, you've gone, I've got quite used to my home. That's something that I haven't expected, actually, is going like, you know what? That was that kind of safe haven of my home I really got used to. But yeah, it has been a mammoth tour. We're really lucky, actually. So many theatre companies, they were either near the end of their run or they were in the middle of it, and they just had to kind of shut down and rehearse the next show to go out. But because we were only 3 weeks in, the theatre company made the decision that they would try and rebook this one, which was so great for us. It's been lovely, actually, going around the country. I love it.
Wonderful. And you say, you'd only just started the tour 3 weeks in and then you were locked down. Did you manage to get the same cast back?
Yeah, so all the same, which was, partly to do with the fact that there wasn't, as you said, not loads of work flying around for actors. So, we managed to get the whole cast all through the pandemic, actually. The theatre company were amazing, and we had, I think there were 3 contracts that were drawn up and then had to be moved on because another lockdown was called. We were supposed to start again in the autumn of 2020, then again in January 2021, then again in March. So we finally got back up and running in June. So we've really kind of gone on a journey with it.
And I suppose we better talk about the play.
Well,
Absurd Person Singular. It's an Alan Ayckbourn play. It's, obviously Alan Ayckbourn, a genius in the world of playwrights. I've seen many Ayckbourn plays, but this one, bearing in mind it was at its premiere in 1972, I think. It's a new one on me. Can you give us a quick synopsis of it?
Yeah, so it's 3 couples on 3 consecutive Christmas Eves, and it takes place at each one of their houses, and it's a kind of unexpected Christmas party. It starts with the Hopcrofts, Sydney and Jane, and the play basically follows Sydney's rise up the kind of social ladder, and it follows him, and then it's always in a room where the party isn't. So Act 1 is in a kitchen, but the party's in the other room. But as we all know, kind of the best things in parties happen in rooms where it's not supposed to. And you just get a snapshot of these characters, and some of the characters succeed and some of them fail, so it just follows them. It's
a comedy, right?
Yeah, it's a comedy. Yeah. I should have mentioned that, shouldn't I? It is a comedy. I mean, my character also my character has depression, and it focuses on that in Act 2. But it is somehow still a comedy, and it still works. And I can confirm people laugh every night. So it does work as a comedy as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love Alan Ayckbourn's work. As I say, this is a new one on me, and I can't wait to see it. But, you're closing the Theatre Clwyd tonight, but the new Vic, you open, that's an extra date added.
Yeah, so it's a new Vic in Newcastle-under-Lyme near Stoke. So it's a theatre in the round, so we have to completely re-rehearse it in 2 days, on Monday and Tuesday, because all our venues have been end-on, so the audience is just right in front of you. But the new Vic in Stoke is more like an amphitheatre, so we have to get rid of all the walls, all the doors, which is no mean feat, and just, re-rehearse in the round so the audience can see you at all times, which is amazing and also terrifying.
I was going to say, that sounds like a nightmare, but is it as bad as it sounds? I mean, doing it completely differently can be quite enjoyable, really, but if you've only got a few days to rehearse, that's a bit of a task, surely. Yeah.
I would be lying if I said, it's going to be a bit of an adrenaline-fueled performance. But then sometimes that's what you need, like a bit of a kick, just to go, like, come on, because you what you end up doing is you end up listening really, really hard and just looking at your fellow actors and kind of really, really following it, because we've been doing the show now, not in the round, for 14 weeks. So it's such a living, breathing kind of, we know where everybody's going to stand, where everybody's going to go. You find yourself moving before you even know you're doing it. But obviously next week when we're in the round, we can't do that. And we're going to have to just kind of be on our toes. But I think that gives it an extra something. So it's exciting and terrifying. You have to adapt. On tour, there will be some times where you can't go round the back of the set. There's, Felicity, one of our actresses, has to go right round the back of the set. And she's had so many varying journeys. Sometimes she can just nip round the back. Sometimes she has to go under the stage. Sometimes she has to go all the way around the building to the other side. So, yeah, she always has a bit of a task.
Wonderful. And just one more thing, just as a sort of a logistical thing for audiences, the theatre life at the moment obviously is very strange. When people turn up, do they have to show proof of a vaccination or a negative test, or how's it?
No, it does depend on the venues, but for the most part, theatres seem very, very happy to just let people in wearing masks. There's normally quite a lot of space, so it's up to the theatre goers' discretion if they kind of want to sit in the seat they've booked, or they can just sit slightly further away. But for the most part, people seem really happy to sit as normal, but just wear masks. And some people, if they bring in drinks and stuff like that, aren't wearing masks, much like the cinema. So it depends on theatre, on the various theatres, but theatre goers seem very happy.
Fantastic. Helen, it's been a treat to speak to you this morning. Thanks ever so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been lovely.
Thanks ever so much, and good luck with the rest of your tour. It's got an extra week there, so all good. And
very exciting.
Theatre, great to see it back.
Yeah, it really is. It's a pleasure to be part of it. And it's kind of a historical time, so it's really, really exciting.
Yeah. I've got to be honest, I found the whole lockdown thing quite interesting. I know it's an odd thing to say, but I was listening to Jason Manford the other day, and he said, "Is anybody feeling nostalgic about the first lockdown?" And I thought, how weird, because I am. I'm this sort of thing. That was quite a nice. I mean, it was horrible at the same time, but it was quite a. It was just because it was the novelty of it. I think was.
It was kind of. I've definitely felt that. As I said, I kind of. You're away from home and you go, oh, I quite miss my home. I had a really nice kind of little safe haven, haven. And at times, when you had money coming in and stuff like that, it was all a bit Enid Blyton at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very wholesome.
Absolutely. Well, as I say, thanks ever so much for that, and I wish you well in everything you do.
Oh, it's all you as well. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Helen.
Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
From the heart of your community, this is Calon FM.
There we go, Helen Keeley from the London Classic Theatre's Absurd Person Singular. There we go, put my teeth in. It's an Alan Ayckbourn classic, and it's running at Theatre Clwyd. Closes today. There's a matinee and an evening performance. Go see it if you can. Helen Keeley from the London Classic Theatre's production of Absurd Person Singular, playing up at Theatre Clwyd, closes this very evening. If you want to go and see it, you better get your shoes on. Just a few other dates for your diary up at Theatre Clwyd, opening tonight and running till the 6th of November. Isla is on. Rush, A Joyous Jamaican Journey returns on the 31st of October. That's Halloween. I went to see it a few years ago up at Theatre Clwyd, and just before lockdown actually, and it's a brilliant night. It's absolutely fantastic. It is just one brilliant classic reggae tune after another. It's unbelievable. Live band, everything. You get everything with that one. One for the kids, A Very Hungry Caterpillar. That's on the 2nd and 3rd of November. And the biggie, Beauty and the Beast, will get its live premiere. It was supposed to play last year, of course. They recorded it, put it up on the internet, and but this year you can actually go into the theatre and sit in your chair with your sweets and boo and hiss and enjoy yourself. A Christian Patterson pantomime. It's back at Theatre Clwyd. That is opening on the 19th of November, runs until the 15th of January, so you've got no excuses for that one, right? Brilliant. Live theatre is back, girls and boys, and it feels great.
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.